Listen, I know you're probably tired of hearing about Pi network price predictions that never seem to come true. Trust me, I get it. You've been mining for years, watching the price go up and down like a yo-yo, and maybe you're starting to wonder if this whole thing is just a pipe dream. But what happened in the last 48 hours has me genuinely excited, and I think you're going to want to hear this. Some massive whale just moved $27 million worth of Pi tokens, and Pi 2 Day is literally 3 days away. I'm not here to blow smoke up your ass or give you false hope. I'm going to break down exactly what's happening, why it matters, and whether that $1 target we've all been dreaming about might actually be within reach this time. Real quick though, if you want the inside scoop on Pi Network updates as they happen, make sure you follow my Telegram and Facebook pages. Links are in the description. I post exclusive content there that I can't share anywhere else. And honestly, that's where the real conversations happen. Alright, before we dive in, hit that like button if you're still holding Pi despite all the ups and downs. And if you're new here, subscribe and turn on notifications because I'm one of the few creators who actually tells you the truth about Pi Network, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay, so here's what went down that has everyone talking. There's this whale, let's call him the accumulator, who just became the 6th largest Pi holder on the planet. We're talking about someone who now owns $195 million worth of Pi tokens. But here's the crazy part. In just the last 24 hours, this person withdrew 3.7 million Pi tokens from OKX exchange. That's not selling, that's taking tokens off the market. Think about it this way. While regular folks like us have been getting discouraged, and some have been selling, this whale is doubling down hard. They've made 5 separate transactions in the past week, each one over $100,000. That's not the behavior of someone who thinks Pi is going to zero. That's someone who knows something we don't, or at least thinks they do. And look, I've been covering crypto for years, and when whales start moving this kind of money, it usually means something big is coming. The timing here is just too perfect to ignore. Let me give you the raw numbers, because they're actually pretty wild. Pi is sitting at around 61 cents right now, up about 13% in the last 24 hours. But here's what's really interesting. The trading volume shot up by 130%. That's not retail investors panic buying, that's institutional money moving in. The technical stuff is looking pretty bullish too. The Bollinger Bands are widening, which means we're seeing more volatility, and the price broke above the middle band. For those of you who don't know technical analysis, that basically means buyers are starting to take control. And here's something that really caught my attention. The bear bull power indicator just flipped positive for the first time in weeks. That's usually a sign that momentum is shifting toward the bulls. Could be nothing, could be everything, but it's worth noting. Here's where things get really interesting. June 28th is Pi 2 Day, and if you've been in the Pi network community for a while, you know this date is kind of a big deal. The core team usually drops major announcements on Pi 2 Day, and this year feels different. The word on the street is that they're planning to roll out the second wave of KYC verification. Now I know KYC sounds boring, but hear me out. This could potentially give millions of people in China, Africa, and Latin America access to Pi for the first time. Imagine what happens to the price when millions of new users suddenly have access to buy, sell, and use Pi. There's also talk about new dApps launching and some kind of AI integration. Nicholas Kokalis, one of the co-founders, was spotted at Consensus 2025, which suggests they're serious about making some major moves. Look, I don't want to get your hopes up too high, but the pieces are starting to come together in a way that feels different from previous years. The mainnet is live, the ecosystem is growing, and now we might be getting mass adoption through KYC expansion. Alright, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Can Pi actually hit $1 this week? I mean, really? Based on the technical analysis, if this momentum continues, Pi could test the 85 cents resistance level pretty quickly, and if it breaks through that, $1 to $1.17 is definitely within reach. That's not me being overly optimistic, that's just what the charts are suggesting. But let's be real for a second. Some analysts are saying Pi might struggle to get past 60 cents, and could even drop back to 40 cents. They think Pi 2 Day won't be enough to push it significantly higher. Here's my take. Those analysts aren't looking at the whale activity, they're not seeing the 130% volume increase, they're not factoring in the potential impact of millions of new users getting KYC access all at once. Could Pi hit $1 this week? Yeah, I think it's possible. Will it? That depends on what the Pi team announces on Pi 2 Day and whether they can actually deliver on their promises. If you're holding Pi, here's my advice. Don't do anything stupid. Don't panic sell before Pi 2 Day. The recent whale activity around Pi is raising eyebrows, and for good reason. These large holders usually move in silence, but when they start accumulating or shifting significant amounts, it often signals that something major is on the horizon. This isn't just random speculation. It's a pattern we've seen play out in other crypto projects before big announcements or major shifts in price. If you're watching the charts and seeing these movements, it's worth paying close attention. Now, if you've been thinking about buying Pi, the current price of around 61 cents could be one of the last solid entry points before things start to move. With Pi 2 Day just around the corner and growing excitement across the community, this moment might represent that quiet window right before a major shift. It's not just about hype, there's a sense that key announcements could trigger real market movement. Still, it's important to be realistic. Nothing in crypto is ever certain, and while the signs are promising, there are no guarantees of a sudden price surge. This is exactly why caution is critical. Crypto markets are volatile, and even strong projects can face unexpected setbacks. So if you're considering buying Pi now, make sure you're only putting in what you can afford to lose. That's not financial advice, it's just common sense in a space where news, sentiment, and market dynamics can flip in a day. The potential is real, but so is the risk. Stay alert, stay informed, and most importantly, stay grounded. Never invest more than you can afford to lose. Stay smart, stay cautious, and don't fall for hype without doing your own research. As for what to watch on Pi 2 Day, keep your eyes peeled for three big things. Announcements around expanded KYC verification, which could bring in millions of new verified users. Potential exchange listings, especially on major platforms, which would boost both visibility and liquidity. And finally, any new dApp launches or ecosystem updates that show real-world utility. These are the signals that matter most. If even one of them drops, the price action could shift fast. These are the catalysts that could actually move the needle. And keep an eye on the whales. When someone is willing to drop $27 million on Pi tokens and pull them off exchanges, they usually have a good reason. Look, I've been covering Pi Network for a long time, and I've seen a lot of false starts and broken promises. But right now, with the mainnet live, whale accumulation happening, and Pi 2 Day around the corner, this feels like the most legitimate shot Pi has had at a major price movement. The next 72 hours are going to be crucial. Either Pi Network is going to finally deliver on its potential, or it's going to be another disappointment. But based on what I'm seeing, I'm cautiously optimistic. If this video helped you understand what's really happening with Pi Network, do me a favor and smash that like button, and let me know in the comments. Are you ready for Pi 2 Day? What price are you hoping to see? Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on because I'll be covering Pi 2 Day live as it happens. And don't forget to follow my Telegram and Facebook pages for real-time updates. This could be the moment we've all been waiting for, and I want to make sure you don't miss it.